All praise is due to Allah, the Beneficent, the Merciful, Master of the Day of Judgment. I testify that there is no God but Allah, and that Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wasallam is his servant and messenger. My dear brothers and sisters in Islam, the month of Ramadan has come and gone, just like a lightning. He who invested in good definitely is going to see good in the next world. He who did the opposite, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala knows his stand. My dear brothers and sisters in Islam, the most important thing that you need to take into consideration or remember is whether Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has accepted your acts of ibadat which you did in the month of Ramadan or not. This is the most important thing that you should consider. Acceptance of your work by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. If Allah accepts your acts of ibadah in the month of Ramadan or outside the month of Ramadan, you will be among the luckiest ones because you will be dwelt in the Al-Jannah. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala make us among them. But he who gets the opposite should blame no one but himself, because Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has given you the chance, has given you the ability to do the righteous works and do them for the sake of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala with all sincerity. If you are lazy to do this, don't blame Allah, blame yourself. Among the past pious people, when a day like the day of Eid came, you would find someone among them crying, although it was a day of celebration. He would be asked, why are you crying while people are celebrating? He would answer, of course, the day is a day of celebration, because Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has declared it a day of celebration for Muslims. But my worry is whether my righteous works I did have been accepted by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala or not. This is my worry. This is what made me to cry. In the same vein, Sayyida Aisha, in a hadith reported by Tirmidhi and others, she was asking the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam concerning an ayah in Surah Al-Mu'minun, ayah 60 specifically, where Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says concerning the believers, they are those who give out what they have, but while they are giving this thing out, they are full of fear whether it is accepted from them or not. Sayyida Aisha asked the Prophet, is Allah referring to those Muslims who are committing zina, who are drinking wine, who are stealing, who are doing all the atrocities? Is Allah referring to these people? The Prophet said to her, no, O you the daughter of Siddiq. In this ayah, ayah 60 of Surah Al-Mu'minun, Allah is referring to righteous persons, Muslims, who are doing their acts of ibadah with all sincerity, but they are afraid whether it is accepted from them or it is rejected. Why? Because Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, إِنَّمَا يَتَقَبَّلُ اللَّهُ مِنَ الْمُتَّقِينَ. Allah accepts acts of ibadah done by his servants only from those who are muttaqun. So they don't know whether they are among the muttaqun whose works are accepted by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. With this, my brothers and sisters, I urge us to continue praying to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to make our acts of ibadah which we invested in the month of Ramadan acceptable to Him. We continue to pray. We continue to pray because we don't know whether they are accepted or not. Thank you very much for listening. 'Yan uwa musulmi masu sauraro